senior health officials were arrested yesterday for allegedly using an 8-day-old company to siphon R1 million from the Global Fund. Director General Sandile Buthelezi, Deputy Malixole Mahlathi and CFO Phaswa Mamogale appeared in the Pretoria Specialised Commercial Crimes Court. They were released on bail of 10,000 rand each. Now, News 24 has detailed how procurement laws were allegedly broken to divert funds meant for HIV, AIDS, TB and malaria treatment. News 24's investigative journalist, Azarrah Karrim, joins us now for more on this story. Azarrah, thanks very much for your time. This is an incredibly worrying story for so many reasons, but perhaps particularly because the people involved are such senior officials in the health department. Allegedly involved, I should say.
Absolutely. So on Monday, the Director General, CFO and the DDG of the Department of Health were arrested for misusing Global Fund money, around R1 million of it. And I think this is an important story because it's exactly where this money comes from. The Global Fund is an international health financier. It receives donations from numerous governments from all around the world, as well as massive international organizations like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And for this 2025 to 2028 period, the Global Fund has pledged around 6 billion rand to South Africa for these purposes. But it seems that that money is not being taken care of.
So the other shocking part of the story, of course, is the fact that an 8-day-old company was used. Where are the checks and balances when it comes to being able to pull something like this off, if indeed all of these allegations are true?
Yeah, so News 24 obtained exclusive documents which draw a very detailed timeline of exactly how that money was siphoned away from the Global Fund through that 8-day-old company. And in fact, in 2024, the Auditor General had made findings of exactly that company called Itani Amen, saying that there were procurement red flags, tax evasion red flags, as well as conflicts of interest. And even back then, it seems that nothing was done about it. Our reporting this morning shows how Itani Amen invoiced the department for forensic investigation work into advocate Maile Ngake. And in those invoices, you can see there are no tax numbers, there's no tax deduction, there's no invoice number. And while the director of Itani Amen was appointed in her personal capacity, she was invoicing through the company. And so that's how the AG raised the red flag of tax evasion. We also show how the department still paid that money from the Global Fund and how finance and supply chain management were pressured to pay that money despite warnings that it would be irregular.
The other thing that you've reported on, Azarrah, is the fact that, or the contention that a whistleblower was targeted using this money. Can you explain that to us?
So News 24 reported a few years ago that advocate Maile Ngake had penned a report of over R1 billion irregular expenditure in the Northwest Department of Health. What's interesting is the appointment letter of Itani Amen that essentially says that this company has been appointed to go on a fact-finding mission. So there were no real allegations that were to be investigated, but rather a fact-finding mission into Maile Ngake and his workflow, how he handles cases as the Chief of Labour Relations in South Africa. We also gave a bit of a snapshot of the report that was drafted, 11 pages of, in my opinion, supposition rather than fact.
As you say, News 24 has for some time been reporting on the saga around this story. In fact, your reporting goes as far back as, and you'll tell us if it goes even further, but to February 2024. So this has been an ongoing investigation. But I suppose the question becomes, it's been 2 years now since News 24 first started reporting on this. The arrest and appearance in the Specialised Commercial Crimes Court happening yesterday. What's been happening over the course of that time in terms of official investigations?
So News 24, yes, you're correct. News 24 started reporting on the Director General about allegations that DG Dr. Sandile Buthelezi solicited a 500,000 rand bribe from a contractor. That investigation was completed by the Hawks and is still with the NPA for decision. Now, I have asked previously the Department of Health for comment on what's going on with that case, and are they going to wait for Dr. Buthelezi to be charged and then do something about it? Which yes, they will. The NPA though has had that docket for well over a year. Then Mamogale also reported on the Director General's dealings with the IDT and the controversial 836 million rand PSA oxygen plants contract, which I'm sure your viewers will remember. The Department of Health have instituted investigations into that. Mamogale have reported that. There aren't any, that hasn't produced any results yet. But that's all to say that this isn't the first time that Dr. Sandile Buthelezi has had run-ins and controversies with Global Fund money.
Yeah, you're talking about that 800 million rand oxygen plant tender that was found to be irregular. Given what you've just talked about, how long the NPA has had the docket, how far your own investigations as News 24 goes, it's then very worrying that the Health Ministry statement from yesterday says that the Minister has noted the arrest and the appearance of 3 officials in the Department of Health, but the Minister is in the dark about the circumstances surrounding this arrest and is waiting to be briefed.
When I saw that statement, I immediately thought, how can the Minister be in the dark if the Auditor General had already flagged this of his own department, at least? It's very difficult to get a real comment from the Department of Health. It's also the Director General also, he reports to the Minister, but he also reports to the Presidency. Both of those people are responsible for what happens next.
Well, it's just the beginning with this first appearance in court yesterday, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more reporting from News 24. Azarrah Karrim, let me thank you for your time. She is an investigative journalist with that publication.